The Forum at 8 with Xolani Gwala.
7 minutes after 8, a very good morning indeed, and a warm welcome to the Forum at 8 here on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader. Well, it is my pleasure now to welcome in our studios a lady that's been described by others as one of South Africa's greatest ever athletes. She swam her final race at the recently concluded Paralympics in London. Some have described her as the great female Paralympic swimmer of her generation. Natalie, good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thanks
for having
indeed.
me.
Vibhakshini and I were just talking about how different you look actually when you walked into the studio. Vibhakshini?
It's all the time she's spent in Italy, apparently.
Yeah,
Beautiful tan.
Beautiful tan. But you see, TV has a way of because you look a lot, I mean, I suppose a lot older maybe, not necessarily, but in person, it's like you're 16.
Well, I think, on TV, you have to sort of act a specific
suppose,
way.
you know.
You try and be yourself, but I think you do have a few nerves that come into play. But I think, from a perspective that, I try and be the same on TV as I would be on radio, as I would be in person, and wherever you meet me. So, from that perspective, I don't know. I don't really look at myself too much in a mirror.
Well, we do. How are you doing? Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. The last 3 days have been quite challenging, with a lot of media and a lot of attention. And, it's been great because it's been keeping me busy, obviously going into retirement to keep
At
busy.
28 going into retirement. Isn't that amazing?
Well, I think retirement from swimming, I think the new life is about earning money and about, going out there and starting a different challenge, a different life. Swimming, obviously, gave up a lot for swimming, sacrificed a lot, studies. You swim 6 to 8 hours a day. It's kind of impossible, really, to do anything else.
And you've done that for over 20 years.
I think it became more serious in the last sort of 5-6 years with training and being a 10-kilometer swimmer. We race 10 kilometers, which is a 2-hour race. So in essence, every day we have to try and do a 20 kilometers within our training session. So it's double. In swimming, that's sort of how the ratio works. You've got to train double the amount that you would normally race. And so, I spent many, many hours in the swimming pool. So
But how did it all start, hey, Natalie?
Look, I started swimming when I was 6 years old, and it really just took off from there. It was about getting into a pool, enjoying what you do, and I started swimming better and better and started winning medals. I went on my first overseas trip when I was 12 years old. I went to Crystal Palace in London and won a couple of gold medals, the Victrix Adorum. Went to Commonwealth Games when I was 14 years old as a senior team, and, I had a bit of an upset there. I actually missed one of my races, and it created quite a stir in the media back home here in South Africa. And, moving over to Manchester after having a motorbike accident and losing a leg and changing my distances and my strokes completely and basically starting afresh. And,
I'll talk about that accident in a minute. But I saw an interview. Apparently, your brother also was quite a big sportsman, if you will, a big swimmer as well.
Well, he started swimming before me, and it was one of the reasons why I started, because I used to have to sit and watch him training, and I just decided one day I can get in the pool and swim, and that's how my swimming career took off. He stopped swimming a couple of years after that, and, I carried on going.
So at 12, you start competing internationally, you win these awards. 14, you go to the Commonwealth Games, but 2001, tragedy.
Yeah, I think, if I look back on it now, it was a tragic accident, but it's also, changed my life completely. It's become positive. It's become, I don't think I would have met the people that I have met along the way. And yes, it was, at the time, it was crazy. It was, one of those freak accidents when you're driving past a parking lot and someone pulls out and drives into you and your legs bursts. And obviously when everybody heard that I was a swimmer, they tried to save my leg. Took my artery out what I would call my good leg and put it into the leg that they amputated eventually. But that artery was put there to try and save the leg. It did burst, so it wasn't possible to sew anything up.
Sure.
And so for 1 week I was in ICU. I was on 1 ml of morphine an hour. So I don't remember much. Someone came to tell me that they're going to have to amputate, and furthermore waking up to a small leg, to a short leg. And from there, saw the bandages, saw the size of it. It was about 3 times the size of what it was. And it was quite painful as well. So, from that perspective, I think when I woke up, it was about getting back to life again. It was getting back to what I knew, and it was something that I was just going to give it a go and see what I could do after the accident.
But isn't that's amazing? Because at that point, that's when you start thinking about, well, there goes my future in swimming. There goes my future in everything that I've been doing. So you say that at that point you were thinking about getting back to life again, to recovering and becoming the person you were before the accident.
After when I came around and had the amputation, I think I also had a lot of media attention, and I had a lot of people coming to visit me, coming to speak to me, people who have had amputations before. And I think from that perspective, again, I didn't really have time to think too much. I just started going with life and started moving into a line. It would be the exact same thing as me coming back from the Paralympics and doing media attention. It was more or less the same thing. So, I never had that time to.
But where was the
look
support
back.
coming from? Was it the family? Was it the people around you that supported you so much that you didn't see it as a loss?
I think the support came from everywhere. I did lots of stories in the newspapers. I had people coming to visit me saying it is possible. I had those saying, it's the worst thing that ever happened to me, that I've lost part of my body. And I think something that was told to me was that you can either look at something from a positive angle, or you can look at the negative and say, I never ever want to be like that, and look at that from a positive angle. So I think that's how I grew up. And those, the following weeks after my amputation, that was important. And I saw a lot of that. Yes, I saw psychologists. Yes, I had a lot of work to do in the gym. Had a lot of physiotherapy, and getting onto a prosthetic leg and trying to get as busy as quickly as possible.
How long did it take you before you were back in the pool again?
Well, I was back in the pool before I could swim, before I could walk. Before I could walk, and purely because I was waiting for wounds to heal. So before I could get my prosthetic leg on properly, I actually learned to walk on a table. So the normal prosthetic leg that has it has a cushion on the inside, and normally you start to walk on something like that was broken, and so I walked on a table with a blue mat. But I think it was easier to get back into swimming. It was also part of physiotherapy and part of strengthening muscles that I had lost.
But surely it was difficult and different, because the swimming technique on its own was completely different from before the accident.
Completely. Before my accident, I was actually an individual medley swimmer and a butterfly swimmer. And, getting out the swimming pool for a motorbike accident and getting back in again, coming to breaststroke was probably the hardest stroke, the most difficult stroke for me to swim. And that is, as you open your legs and you snap them together, the water's expelled. And as the water's expelled, it propels you forwards. And from that perspective, I only had one leg. So every time I would open and close my leg, the water would be expelled in the sideways direction. And therefore, I would swim in a circle. So that was a bit challenging. And, my coach took me aside and he spent lots of time on it and, using the head for direction, like a dolphin would swim, a dolphin would dive, and the undulations. That was what became important within my stroke. As time went on and as I got fitter and as I got stronger, certain muscles became stronger than others. And the body naturally moved into a stroke that would be possible for a person with one leg. In our swimming world, we aren't allowed to swim with aids. So it was impossible to put a flipper on the end of my stump or, be able to basically use something to propel me forwards like I would have with two legs. And, I had to learn to basically keep myself afloat.
For all intents and purposes, you learned swimming from scratch all over again.
Exactly. I had lost absolutely every piece of muscle within the 2 weeks I was in hospital. And I lost over 20 kilograms. And all that muscle depleted. And to start building that up again, swimming isn't about, it's not like running. It's actually aerodynamic. It uses exactly the same principles of how an airplane flies in the air. And it's about finding water, feeling water. So you have to put the time and effort into the pool. And getting back in, obviously, on one side of my body, I have much less weight than on the other side. How much we would never know, because once, you lose part of a limb, it becomes dead weight and it takes on water. So you'd never be able to measure it. It was something that I think legs are more important for flotation and to keep your body up, as well as propulsion forwards. And I carried on. I trained hard. We worked exceptionally hard. I started in the first lane with all the kids. And I just didn't want to be in that lane. I wanted to be in the fastest lane where I normally used to train. And we worked very, very hard on that.
But I'm just wondering about what was the driver? What drove you so hard? Was it the point? Did you want to prove a particular point that I may be in this particular situation now, but I'm still as good as I was prior to the accident?
It's quite an interesting thing because when I had my accident, it wasn't about I'm going to be the best swimmer or, I'm going to be a role model. It never, ever worked like that. It was every day I worked hard. I had set my own goals, set my own dreams. And I also, over the years created values. And those values are what we stuck to for so many years. Sometimes it's really tough, but we got there and we work towards them. And that was, it grew from day to day. It got better and better. And life pushed me in this direction. Sometimes, you don't ask for it, but you get pushed. And from that perspective, swimming was my life. It was what I knew. I did it 3-4 hours a day at that stage. And someone actually gave me the advice that the 10-kilometer event will be a marathon event in the swimming, in the Olympics. And in 2008, and that's what I worked towards. And, it's about personal goals. It's about personal dreams and going for them. And I think that's where people picked up on it because I never said I was going to be the best person ever. And I still to this day believe that there are other people that are going to come up and break your world records and beat you. And I think it's just about learning every day and trying.
Amazing. But the battles were not just limited to the fact that physically you obviously had to battle with an amputation. But there were battles within swimming SA, for instance, that you had to fight in order to continue doing what you love doing.
I think sometimes you go through certain things that you wish weren't there. And it has been a tough ride. It has been a tough, especially the last 18 months. But I think, at the moment we're not allowed to speak about them. But to look back and to say that we've achieved everything that we have achieved is something truly special. And
I accept the fact that you're not allowed to talk about those battles, but it almost showed it at the end of after the last race. Some of the comments that you made, for instance, I walk away with absolutely no regrets. I look back and I think I gave everything. No matter what emotions you go through, I gave everything in the pool. I want you spoke about to think that the 3 or 4 months ago I was not coming, for instance. I mean, how is it possible that one of our best swimmers wasn't going?
It's something that to go through a lot of politics as an athlete is something that you never ever wish to go through. And unfortunately, I've had to go through a lot of it. I've been very fortunate to have a team, a small team that's worked with me, and we had specific goals and dreams. And within that team, it was made sure that we would achieve what we wanted to. 4 months ago, I was really down and out, and I made a promise, and that promise is what has kept me going. And I think I look back and I'm grateful that I actually finished it, because the chapter that I'd set when I was a little girl, because I always said I wanted to swim till the end of 2012, that was possible. And yes, it's been tough. Yes, it's been a crazy couple of months. It's been going to training, and I think for me, hating every minute of it, but being over in Italy, the coach and the squad made me love it at a certain, in a certain way as well, and just had a fantastic team. And from that perspective, it was a lot of relief when I finished. And I think, sitting here, as some people remarked, I look a bit different. I think, a bit happier, a bit more relieved. A lot of people say, but, you're leaving basically what you've known. And I think it's time. I've achieved everything I wanted to, and it's time to move on and time to realize that, those politics we don't have to go through.
And the last day of the Paralympics, quote again, you were quoted as saying, "What an emotional day, humbling, exciting and sad. My swimming career is over, but the lessons learnt will never be forgotten."
Definitely. It was humbling, and humbling because I won the silver medal in that last race. And I think from that perspective, I know that there are girls who can take over from me, and there are girls that can be better. And sad to leave something that I had known for so many years, and that was my life. Happy that it's all over, that finally I don't have to fight anymore. I can go into a different chapter of my life and maybe fight different battles, but I didn't have to carry on fighting those ones. I think the point of what were you saying?
Lessons
in the
learned.
last,
Lessons learned. You said those will never be forgotten.
Those will never. In swimming, it's about teamwork. It's about, a lot of people think it's an individual sport, but me going over to Italy, having a coach that believed in me, that was there to do anything for me, the squad, training with the squad, they pushed me from pillar to post, not as in, I'm not organized, but in the pool, from doing a 50 meter to 100 meter, I had 5 weeks to prepare for the Paralympics. Before that, it was about the 10-kilometer marathon and trying to qualify for the Olympic Games. And, I dropped my training down from, I think, about 100 and odd kilometers a week down to trying to do sprints. And the squad welcomed me with open arms, to have my team with me. As I said, it hasn't been just about me going out there. I don't think a person can achieve anything on your own. You need that team. You need the people that believe in you and believe in what you want to achieve. So from that perspective, values, hard work, teamwork, dreams, goals, everything that you go through should become a value and to live positively.
I'll open the lines. There's already a couple of people already that would like to talk to you. 089, I'm going to ask you to put in your headphones. 0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. I'll also take SMSs at 34701. But there's something that you've been talking about, of course, preparing for that 10 kilometer. Because what then is that about? Some people, for instance, have said that you are credited with making the gap between the able-bodied and disabled feel a lot narrower. Is that what you were trying to do then by participating as well in the Olympics?
I think the 10-kilometer event became an event that it was possible for me to bridge my gap. I'm actually an endurance athlete. I'm not a sprinter at all. And before my accident, I actually swam 400 individual medley, 200 butterfly, 200 individual medley. So to come back and with disabled events, there are only sprinting events. And when someone came up, one of the coaches came up to me and said, look, he believes that the 10-kilometer event will be at the Olympic Games. I should go for it. I decided that was what I was going to do. And as swimming goes, you have to put the time in the swimming pool. And it was quite something going into London, going into that 10-kilometer event. I went over to Italy to try and put as much mileage as possible into my training. And I actually had 2 different coaches in Italy. So the first one was his swimmer, Martina Grimaldi, came 3rd in the 10-kilometer event in London at the 10-kilometer marathon. And so I was actually training with her and putting the mileage in the pool and building up quite a lot of endurance. And that was what was important to me because it was my dream as a little girl to go to the Olympics. Bridging your own
personal gap between, I hear that. All right, let's take some calls, Natalie, if we may. Let's start with Temba in Newcastle. Hello, Temba. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. How are you, Sister Ken?
Good, thank you. And you?
You won't believe I've read your first autobiography 10 times.
Wow. Wow, it's actually not available anymore, so shame. Thank you.
I bought it long ago. What touched me was that quotation from Benjamin Mays, who was Dr. Martin Luther King's mentor. Yeah. But firstly, I would love to say thanks for your humility, and you have succeeded exceedingly to turn your physical disability into your greatest advantage. This reminds me of Ray Charles, who was blind.
Yeah.
Every time when he was practicing piano, his neighbors would laugh at him. And the only inspiration was his mother, who said, you are blind, not stupid. You have lost sight, not mind. My 3 first questions are, 1, what are the greatest lessons which life and sports in particular have taught you? 2, who were your outstanding mentors and role models who were with you through thick and thin? 3, how did you handle disappointment and losing and setbacks? Because always is not, in life it's not plain sailing. The other thing, how would one be able to get some of your videos and voice interviews? Okay. Because I've got a library on you. You are my inspiration, and I would love to give you my email address or my telephone number because I would love to be in constant communication with you.
All right, Temba, I'm going to put you back to Nomalizo and leave your contact details there, maybe your email address. We'll pass it on to Natalie a little later on after the show. How would you respond to Temba, who's clearly thoroughly inspired by your work?
Oh, definitely. And I think to see people out there that have picked up on lessons or mentors or role models is something that's very, very special, because at the end of the day, I've gone out there and tried to achieve my goals and my dreams. And I think life is tough. And, even for me, it's not just about a positive journey. It's about going through lots of ups, lots of downs. And the greatest, I think, lesson in life that I can share with everybody is that no matter what you go through, you have to know your dream or your goal at the end of the day. And you've got to work towards that. And there's going to be times where you don't believe it. 4 months ago, I was not going to be at the Paralympic Games. And I had people that believed enough in me to be able to get there. And that's what was special. That hard work, that teamwork, values are lessons that you have to stick by, and something that I've tried to stick by and try to go with them. But really, it's about no matter what you go through, you can still come out at the other side. I think mentors, I've had many mentors along the way, and, be it mentors, a positive mentor or someone who you look up to and you say, I don't want to be like them at all. But I even look up to the person in the street. You walk past them and they know exactly who I am. And, even though they maybe have no home or, they're begging on the street, they still know the news of the country. And I think that's something that's fantastic. Disappointments, how to handle them. I think going out there and trying to, if I can call it, when you're going through a disappointment, it's sad. It's a moment where you just want to give up. But sometimes you can deal with them, and sometimes you just need to switch them off. And sometimes you just need to find a place to put them so that one day you can actually deal with them.
Sometimes cry.
Sometimes cry. Cry. I believe in crying. I believe in writing down disappointments, tearing them up, burning them, just as much as writing down good times and moments that you want to remember for the rest of your life. So treat both the same and treat them with equal importance.
Let me quickly squeeze in Richard in Johannesburg before the headlines. Richard, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, welcome, Richard.
Just 2 comments.
Yeah.
One, I've met Natalie a few times. I'm also a swimmer. I'm also disabled, and I'm almost 60. And she is the most humble, the most friendly, and giving person that I've met. And I just think she's terrific. And the second point is, swimming is such a wonderful sport for disabled people, and I've started Robben Island right next to her, and she was there sitting in the sand in that icy cold water with real guts. And if she can do it, everybody else who's disabled can do it. And I just appeal to guys who aren't strong to get in the water and come swim with her and me. Great.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Richard in
Natalie.
Johannesburg, thank you very much. A quick comment?
Thank you very much. I think, yes, swimming is one of those sports that is aerodynamic, and with a lot of disabilities, you can get in, people with cerebral palsy in heat, in hot water. It's unbelievable to see what they can do. And that was what the Robben Island swim was, raising funds for the School for Vista Nova in Cape Town. But it's very special. And, I think for everybody, just to be able to float in water, when it's hot, you can cool down, you can go to the beach, you can have fun. And it's important to be water safe as well. So, for disabled, it's great physiotherapy for general public, go out there and be able to enjoy the water.
Just so much to talk to Natalie about. And of course, give me a call 0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. Already there's Janusz in Cape Town, Eddie in Ficksburg. A whole lot of SMS is coming through 34701. And email me, gwala@sabc.co.za. But for now, let's.
The Forum at 8 with Xolani Gwala.
And my guest on the program this morning, Natalie du Toit. We're talking about her 22 years almost of swimming, which came to an end, of course, with the Paralympics in London. We'll take your thoughts on 0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. Some SMSs here for you, Natalie. There's one from Kumalo who says, Natalie, I just love the look on your face each time you appear on TV. So strong, yet so gentle. Another one came through from Rose in Durban who says, the Paralympics was not an afterthought. It was the highlight. Natalie was not an indulgence. She was the highlight. That's Rose in Durban. Linda in Bloemfontein says, wow, her story is quite inspiring. Her determination and perseverance is really inspiring. I hope her autobiography is still in stores, says Linda. Unfortunately, no. Hey.
No, it's not. It's not being published at all at the moment. So, unfortunately, no.
Wow. There is another one that says, it comes from Armanke, who says, we salute you, girl. You made us proud of being South Africans. Another one from David Mtuns in Mabato. Any marriage plans on the cards? Guys would die to walk you down the aisle. Any question, any answer there? No.
I think I've just retired within the last 3 days. I think obviously everybody wishes that one day something will happen, but for the moment, I'm still out there, still looking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's look at some SMS. I beg your pardon. That was very nice, actually. You avoided it quite.
I think I'm blushing on the side.
Vijay Mtembu sent us an email. He says, I'm so inspired with that motivational speaker, Natalie du Toit. All I need is her email address so that I can buy her DVDs and show the generation of our generations to come. I believe that she can heal not only our nation, but also the world as a whole. That's Vijay Mtembu who sent us that email. Another email came through. Let me just open. In fact, a whole lot. There's Magume Malaki in Potts and Johns who says, that is the lady who made us proud as South Africans. Is she married or is she in love? With whom? It seems we love her as South Africans. She deserves to have a caring and loving man. And it's not me, Natalie. It's
No, I think reading and hearing all of these messages, it's something that has been important to me, and that is to show people that it is possible. And it's great to know that there's such a great following out there. The support was unbelievable, being it over in London or be it me in South Africa, and I've got to say thank you to the South Africans for all that support.
Right, let's go to the lines. Then there's Eddie in Ficksburg. Hello, Eddie.
Hey, Kulani, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Bob?
Greetings to the listeners and greetings to Natalie. I'm so proud of you. I'm a Free State farmer, and what you went through, I went through because my daughter lost her leg. My daughter lost her leg, 1990, total amputation, the whole leg from cancer, and she was trained by Simon Gray in Bloemfontein, the same time he was training Rick Nettling. And I just want to say this, please, Natalie, don't you want to do me one favor? My daughter won the championship through and through. She used to swim 60 lengths per day, and the people said, Eddie, stop, Jackie, she's going to drown. She was totally dedicated. She won all her championships in Pretoria, and she was supposed to be chosen for Olympics in Australia. And they said, no, Eddie, she can't go. I said, why? No, she's climbed the corporate or the swimming ladder too fast and too quickly. She can do it next time. I said, good God, man, the girl might be dead next time. And she was dead. And my daughter never swam for South Africa. And I say, Paralympic officials, get your act together. Don't stop a child because she's climbing the swimming ladder so beautifully. Thank you, Natalie. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing that story. I think for everybody, it just shows you've got to go out there and take every day as it comes and use it to the fullest.
0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. Another one from, that's an email from Audrey in Pretoria. Please tell Natalie that she is, in my eyes, as a symbol of hope. It just shows that there's no excuse if one wants something really bad. So give that lady a bells. That's Audrey. Oh, another one. I would like to encourage and congratulate Natalie for her bravery in life. People like her, disabled, should never give up as life carries on. I have been watching her since she entered the competitions, and today she's pulling out. Well, it was not easy. It was not an easy journey, but God made it possible. I'm from Cape Town as well, and I would like to get in touch with her if I could get her contact details. Kind regards. That's Arthur on email. Let's take Janusz in Cape Town. Hello, Janusz.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning.
I think you're used to this situation that people calling you national hero because you really are, and we are all proud of you. Yesterday on the program, on Ashraf's program, I was listening to you, and you mentioned that you, of course, we all know that you end your sporting career, swimming career, and now you settle. And I hope you're not going to settle somewhere in the office, as you mentioned, going to representing some of the companies. But what I would bring to this discussion, one of the projects from my NGO, the Family Uplift Program, we brought to the surface was to teaching our children to swim, especially in a rural and in the black environment. Why we took it? Because I'm dealing with one of the Masipumalele schools, and many children, when they went for the holidays, they didn't come back because they drowned. Wouldn't you be so nice? And instead of going to the office, or maybe take some time from offices and go to the schools and encourage people, especially our black children, to learn to swimming, because it's a part of the life.
Okay, that's a very important point. Janusz in Cape Town, thanks, because it also comes through on a number of SMSs here, Natalie. Somebody says, for the first time I hear someone speak so sensibly about swimming and its general benefits for everyone. I'm going to try it even at my age. That's Terry. Also, somebody says, is it possible for you to go across the country on some journeys to teach kids, as Janusz was saying?
Yeah, I think from that perspective, it's something about just moving out and divorcing myself from the sport. I've been through a lot of issues, and I think it is important to do a lot of work for charities and that type of thing. And I think from that perspective, I've been through too much within the federation, and I think it's just to stay away from it for now. Maybe one day, I'll get back to it. I have in the past been doing a lot of work within township areas and within, trying to get them, teaching them to work to swim, but not the actual swimming part, but the actual how to set up a swimming school, how to be involved, how to run things. And from that perspective, it is a tough thing for me to be able to walk away and say that I don't want anything to do with the sport. It is very, very tough, but it's something that I just have to do because I don't actually want to be involved in any of the politics anymore.
That is sad. Because there's a skill, there's talent, there's motivation, there's everything that is necessary to assist the up-and-coming swimmers of this country. If you were to do it, if you were to be, let's say, for instance, get private funding so that you organize it yourself as opposed to going through the federation, would that be a possibility?
Not at all. I think that is one of the things within swimming. It's controlled by the federation.
Oh, okay.
So, we can't go out there and start something ourselves. It has to be run through the federation. And that's something that I think is different with other sports. And that is purely why, I wouldn't really get involved.
Right, I'll take more calls. 0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. But before we go again back to the lines and also read some emails, Gwala X at SABC, Vabakshini has got a couple of questions that she would like to ask. Have you got those questions ready?
I do have the questions ready. On a lighter note, though. Okay, we're moving away from the serious stuff for a bit. So, in terms of movie choice, drama, action, or rom-com?
What is rom-com, firstly?
It's a romantic comedy, Kolani.
I was about to ask the same question.
Are you serious?
I think definitely probably action.
Okay, swimmers are always watching what they eat. What's your favorite food indulgence?
I don't think swimmers really watch too much of what we eat. As we go out there, and I think we're able to eat a lot more than everybody else. But definitely lamb and butternut. And butternut is obviously high in carbs, high in carbohydrates. So I've learned to be very Italian as well, and to start eating pastas and things like that. So
isn't that too rich for you?
It's quite a thing, because in Italy you only eat between 70 and 100 grams of pasta, and it's really controlled. So
it's a small portion.
It's actually not when you start eating it, but I think sometimes people overdo it, and that's one thing. There's a specific amount of carbohydrates in it, and that's what everybody eats, and very seldom do you find very fat Italians. So. From that perspective, well, young Italians. So from that perspective, I think, as a sports person, it's just basically trying to control your intake of, and equalizing your fats, your carbohydrates, your proteins, which are very, very important.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Do you have a dog?
I have two in Cape Town, yes.
Names?
Binga and Rupert. Binga. Not bingo, Binga.
There's something you didn't know about Natalie before. Binga and Rupert. Favorite holiday destination?
I really love the wild, and be it Kruger or be it any type of park, national park, I think is fantastic just to be in the wild.
You've been swimming from an early age, but what did you want to be when you grow up? Kolani wanted to be like a truck driver, perhaps. No.
Truck driver.
I'm kidding. What did you want to be?
I was really wanting to be a geneticist, and I really love the fact of going out there cloning. I'd probably get into trouble for saying that, but from that perspective, I think that was amazing for me. From that perspective, it's impossible really to go into that section. I'm more into business now, so it'll be something along the business lines.
Since we've been inundated with SMSs regarding your relationship status, let me ask you this. Top 3 qualities that you look for in a guy.
Sure.
Good question.
I haven't really thought too much about it, but I think definitely someone who goes out there and is driven in all aspects of life. Someone who's taller than me.
And you are tall. Now that's going to be quite difficult. No, I mean you're not short. You're pretty tall yourself.
Like I think with a prosthetic leg, I only wear flat shoes, so there's no chance of me wearing high heels or getting any taller. So I think from that perspective, we're a bit stable. The third quality, I think, someone who's caring and someone who's willing to go out there and work as in not work for money or a job, but work within a relationship and work to make it work, basically.
Okay, and one silly question for the road: if you were a biscuit, what kind of biscuit would you be?
Sure. I wouldn't be a biscuit that you dunk in tea because I don't like doing that.
Would you be a chocolate chip cookie, an almond biscuit, a ginger nut?
Yeah, chocolate chips are probably the way I would go. Anything with chocolate is a bit of a bribery. So definitely from that perspective, yes, I think crunchy and definitely with the chocolate flavor.
About men, but how are men in Italy? You were there 8 months, eh?
I was there for 8 months, and I think I think the culture in Italy is very, very different to South Africa, and it was quite weird for me to pick up on that. A lot of the girls within South Africa, stay home and the guys go out and look for jobs. In Italy, it's the other way around. The guys stay home and the girls go and look for jobs. So, from that perspective, I still had to get to know the language first before I could do anything. But, they are an amazing culture. It's an amazing culture, and got a lot of friends over there, which has been fantastic. And, I think, I don't know if I'd move overseas. I have no idea what I would do at this point in time.
Right, let's go to Norman in Cape Town. Hello, Norman.
Good morning, Norman Arendse from Cape Town.
Hi, are you well?
And Natalie.
Advocate Arendse, are you well?
Yeah, I'm very well.
Good.
I know Natalie pretty well, and I'm largely Cape Town based, and we are really sad that we see so little of her these days at the galas. But Natalie knows that we've always supported her, and we absolutely love her and miss her here in Cape Town. But I just wanted to, and of course for us, achievements in the pool recently, it comes as no surprise to us, and we've always known that she's got it in her to perform at that level, both able and in the Paralympics. But I just want Natalie to maybe comment, because I also chaired the 2008 Swim SA inquiry into why we didn't fare too well at the Beijing Olympics. Mm-hmm. And one of the big issues that came out of that report was the lack of facilities. Now, and I think that is what makes Natalie's achievements and our other swimmers at the Paralympics, and of course that of Chad and Cameron van der Berg and our other swimmers in the able-bodied Olympics more remarkable, is that we lack facilities, we lack support both in the private and in the public sector. And it's still the case, and if it weren't for the fact that we have these extraordinarily committed and dedicated swimmers like Natalie and Chad and Cameron and others, that keep swimming on the map. Yet, as soon as this euphoria dies down, I'm just concerned that Swimming South Africa, who deserves much more support, and equal support to cricket and rugby that keep us on the map and other codes, that it will just die away, and it's no use for me. It just reeks of hypocrisy that you're handing out huge checks, deservedly, to athletes like Natalie and others, but there's no infrastructural support. There's no other financial support for our other swimmers. For example, Natalie knows she still holds many able-bodied records here in Western Province. She knows that there are so many black swimmers, able-bodied swimmers, who can make the Olympics, who should have made the Olympics. We only had Darren Murray there. But there's no step up for them because there's no support and there's no facilities, and it still remains a problem. So, just a comment from that.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Norman Arends, Senior Counsellor there. Thank you very much. Your response?
Yes, I think, being over at the Paralympics, we had a press conference where Mr. Gideon Sam stood up and said that they are working on structures, they are working on going and finding talent and bringing them to training facilities and also, growing the sport within the country. I think at the moment, we have very little youngsters coming up. There's no bridging, which I think is something that's important. So, they are looking towards that and I sincerely hope that they do get going on those types of structures. And obviously every other country has those structures, and I think hopefully they've seen that we need them as well to grow and to get better as the world. Yes, we might have tried to bridge the gap between able-bodied sport and disabled sport, but the rest of the world is catching up as well. And from that perspective, we do need more swimming facilities, more 50-meter pools, and it's also one of the reasons why I went over to Bologna and to train. In every sort of 5 minutes away, there's a 50-meter pool, indoors and outdoors, and there are just so many more facilities than we do have in South Africa. And I grew up at Newlands swimming pool in the open with no lane ropes, having the wind coming through there at every cast and trying to have to deal with waves. So from that perspective, that was how I grew up, and hopefully for the future we can see a lot more being put into it. Obviously, as money goes along, for us to have received that the check of so much money was something very, very special. And for us, after so many years, it will do amazingly for us. So, for me especially. And I think from that perspective, for our Minister of Sport, Mbalule, to go out there and add that human emotion to it and say, I was there, I saw what happened, and I believe that they deserve. It's not just rules and regulations, but it is possible to go out there and get the same amount of money as the able-bodied athletes. I think that was fantastic, and that's a good step in the right direction.
Right, we've got some time. We can take some more comments. 0891104428. Let me read some emails for you. There's one from Edwin who says, good morning. Thank you very much, Natalie, on behalf of a maturing South Africa, for letting us see that it is the spirit that counts. You have shown our children that devotion, sacrifice, and self-discipline are the keys to true freedom, not envy, vengeance, spite, and materialism. You are a much-loved and needed beacon of hope for those unfortunate brainwashed into a culture of passive dependence. We must respect your legacy, join hands, and work together to realize our potential in a challenging world. Strength. God bless, Edwin, on email. A whole lot of other SMSs have come through. Somebody says, in fact, Paddy in Moy River says, God has another mission for Natalie, and she will never let circumstances define her destiny. Farai, Natalie, I can't thank you enough for the way you inspire me. In my prayers, I thank God for using people like you to show us what's possible in life. Farai on SMS. She also said, someone can and will always come and beat you, even if you think you're God, says an SMS not signed. Another one from Fundi Mkize. Natalie, my hero, you are a motivation to most of us. We love you. Ingrid in Pretoria. Hi, Natalie. Go, girl. What a beautiful lady. Ndimeni Mtata. Seeing Ms. Du Toit achieving success, which I could not with my abled body, was a pleasurable experience. Hearty congratulations to you. These are just some of the SMSs. I mean, there's just so much coming through.
It's absolutely fantastic. Due to Facebook and Twitter, while we were over in London, we were able to, I think, get the most support or hear about the support. And it makes the world of difference as an athlete, not just being in the stadium and hearing people cheering, seeing the South African flags flying, but also the support back home was phenomenal. And we got to hear about it as athletes. And I think from that perspective, it keeps you going, it spurs you on, and something that you'll cherish for a lifetime. And we've got to say thank you to people for that support.
Let me take this call here. You'd never know, you'd never believe who's listening out there. Alec Moemi, who is the Director General of Sports and Recreation. Alec, good morning.
Good morning, Colin, and good morning to Natalie and to the listeners.
Yeah, hi. Thanks indeed for your call.
Thank you. I just wanted to once again congratulate Natalie. She's indeed an inspiring character that has inspired the youth of our country. And her spectacular win was quite encouraging, and you could see by the...
Alec? No. Yeah? Go ahead. Sorry, we lost you there for a second. Yeah, you were saying?
I was saying that her commitment to the country and to the flag is quite inspiring, and that we as a country have to take off our berets down to her and to say, well done. And as she goes into the sunset of swimming, we would want to continue to engage with her and to work with her in promoting the sport among the young people of our country.
Alec, I thank you for your call. Sure. Thank you very much. Alec is the Director General of the Department of Sports and Recreation.
Definitely, Sports and Recreation is one of our sponsors for the Olympic Committee, and we have to say thank you very much to them for their support. And they were over there, they were watching us, they were part of it all, and to see that happening, to see, your ministers, your Director Generals, your Deputy Minister, who's always at our swimming, to see that is something phenomenal, and to see that they actually do go out there and support us at every cost. And it's one thing that, to give back to the sport at the moment, been through a bit of a tough ride. But I just want to say thank you to them for all the support that they have given us. It has made a difference.
And I certainly think that you have made an incredible difference in people's lives here at home and abroad. And we thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on the show. I hope I could answer as many questions as possible. Indeed. But you're parting short, your last word? I think, yes, it's my chapter is over, my swimming career is over, but I've learned a lot of lessons, and hopefully one day people will realize that it is possible to end something and start something afresh and make just as much a success of it as what you were. And that's important, to keep going, to keep living, to keep striving, and to never give up. And as I said, you treat all your positives and your negatives the same way. Give it as much attention as your negatives as you would your positives, and deal with them. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you very much, Natalie Dutoy, coming through for us here in the studio. It's been a fantastic hour. I thank the team who've put it all together for us this day, starting with our producers, Mesho Shandlale, Wisani Makubele, Tracy Bumgard, and our senior producer today, Lungile Mabaso, and of course also Chiliti Chibase. Sbongile Ntlapo, of course, also one of our producers, and Forum 8 producer, Nomalizo Mandela, technical producer, Ndogozo Kuzwayo, chief producer, Budzi Lugoto, executive producers, Busi Chane and Oprosichia. I'm wishing you well over the weekend. Take it easy. Coming up at 9 o'clock here on SAFM, Sigelelo Mkaba Daily on Morning Talk from all of us here on AM Live, as well as the Forum at 8. We wish you the best of the weekend. Cheers you. 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 The best of the weekend. Cheers you.